For some strange reason, I am sick again. I don't know why. I don't know if it was because maybe at work, going outside, getting the cards, but I am coughing early in the morning, coughing in the evening, and I'm congested again. Yay! So, and unless it gets any worse, I am still going to work tomorrow though. So I am sorry to say that I might not sound 100% clear, but I'm trying to be as clear as possible because in this case, because it counts a little bit more than when I'm talking to other people. Well, it does count when I'm talking to other people because, if they don't understand me. But either way, so I'm gonna try. Hopefully you guys can understand me. My mom would probably tell me not to do this because I'm nasally, but I want to get some December videos in. Because, I want to get into the habit of doing that's one of my goals. So I thought I would do a Christmas themed book tag, which was created, this particular tag was the Joy of Christmas book tag. And it was created by Sam from Sam's Nonsense, and what inspired me to do it was actually watching Sam's video where she redid the tag and to see if her answers would change. And I will post her original video down below once I'm done filming. Okay, so first question is anticipation. The Christmas excitement is real. What book release or releases are you most anticipating? And so far, the only ones that come to mind, are The Wicked King and I think it's The King of Scars. The Wicked King by Holly Black and King of Scars by Lee Bardugo. I read The Cruel Prince this year. I got it from the library, and I really enjoyed it. I was one of those people who really enjoyed it, and I'm one of those people who was not like, I'm very intrigued by the toxic relationship that Jude and, the one that she gets into. I guess I can't really say much more than that because I don't want to spoil it if you're one of the people who hasn't read it. Jude's the main character. The toxic relationship she kind of gets herself in, because that's how fairies are. They're mischief makers and tricksters, and the unseelie fae are evil. So I don't get why people are complaining. I mean, I don't think Holly Black intended for it to be relationship goals or anything like that. But that's how fairies are. They're not Sarah J. Maas's fairies are not the original mythology of fairies. She did her own spin on fairies. Holly Black, I feel like, is in the direction. Of course, I haven't read any of her other books, but at least in The Cruel Prince, it seemed like she went in the more realistic approach to fairies, the way they were in the Celtic mythology. So I have no problem with it. As long as people are aware it's not relationship goals, then I don't see any problem with it. Of course, everyone is entitled to their opinion, but I really liked it. Unfortunately, my issue though is because I got it from the library, and it might be a year before it comes to our library. I don't know if it will or not, because some of the newer books don't always come to our library, and then I wasn't so in love with it that I have the urge to go buy the first book, as much as I really enjoyed it. I just have this weird thing where if I start a series, I have to have all the books on my shelf. I can't, if I'm reading a series, I have to still, and granted, I don't have all the Sarah J. Maas books anymore on my shelf, because some of them I put in a quart of Mist and Fury and a quart of Wings of Ruin I put aside in a box of books that I want to keep, but I don't want it on my shelf anymore, because either I'm going to one day pass it on to Harrison, or they're books that I can't bring myself to part with, and they're important to me, but I don't want them to take up space. But then I also am going to eventually donate the Throne of Glass books to the Gibbons bookstore, which I know, how can I do that? But I'm just not as into the Throne of Glass as I am the ACOTAR series. So I actually, because of my whole issue with how, if I'm going to have a series, if I read a series, then I have to have all the books on my shelf. So because of that, I end up taking off the ones that I need to read for that series before I get rid of it, because I'm not going to donate the first 4 books to the bookstore. I want to donate the whole series to the bookstore, and to me it wouldn't be right to just give them half the series. Well, it's a little more than half, but you get what I mean. So I ended up putting those aside. Unfortunately, my mom does not like clutter, so she doesn't want to see, so her thought is, why don't you just put them on your bookshelf? But it's a pet peeve. Like I said, it's a pet peeve of mine that if I have a series, then, I have to have all the books. Now, I'm not one of those people who will, wait until all the books come out in the series, because who knows how long that will be. But, but most of the time, the series is almost complete anyway, so. But if the author hasn't written the next book in the series, then yeah, I won't be all anal about it. If they happen to not have it yet, or I've decided not to buy it yet, then I just. But anyway, and the other one, like I said, is King of Scars, which is, again, that's another one of those situations where I did get rid of the Grissa trilogy because I didn't love it as much as some people, and I probably wouldn't read it again. I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. I really did enjoy it, but it's not one that, I'm trying to keep only the books that I absolutely love on my bookshelf. So, but I still have the Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. But King of Scars, Nikolai is one of my favorite characters in the original Grissa trilogy. I love Nikolai, and I want him to be happy and find love, and I want to know what happened to him, after what he went through. I think that would make a very compelling story. So, those are the ones. I mean, there are some books that are coming out, that are coming out, but I haven't read the series, but I do have some of the books in the series, or it's been a long time since I've read the series, and I need to reread it before I get into the next book. Like the Dark Tower series, for instance. Okay, so enough spending time on that question. So question number 2. Christmas songs, carols. Christmas songs and carols. What book or author you cannot help but sing its praises? Okay, so I'm going with author here. And I picked quite a few. I said Brandon Sanderson for one. I've fallen in love with the Mistborn series, and I'm still working on it now. I just finished the second one, but I'm doing this thing where I'm going back and forth between Brandon Sanderson and Robin Hobb. So I am reading Robin Hobb right now, and then I'll get back to the last book in that first trilogy, because Brandon Sanderson has written another trilogy in the Mistborn universe. And Robin Hobb is the other author that I have fallen in love with, and I just can't wait to continue. Stephen King, of course, that's an old one, and I've loved him for a long time. He is the king of horror, and if you love horror, I definitely recommend Stephen King. But he does write a lot. A lot of his books are really long, though he writes short books too. But if you're new to Stephen King, I suggest starting with Carrie, because that's the least complicated of his books, and it's the most, the shortest out of the novels, I think. And then Marissa Meyer. Although I am debating about getting rid of Heartless, because as much as I enjoyed it, I'm trying to make room on my bookshelf. And I have to make a decision, get rid of some books, and it's getting down to being really hard to do that at this moment. I go through phases. I have a period where I buy a bunch of books, and then, I go through my shelf and I'm able to get rid of a handful of books, but then it gets down to the point where I can't think of what to get rid of, because I love all the books I have on here. So, but yeah, my sister and my mom have told me that if it's a book you're never going to read again, then get rid of it. And I think I've heard that people say that on BookTube too, when they are making that decision. Question number 3. Gingerbread House. What book or series has wonderful world building? Okay, so again, I'm going to mention Brandon Sanderson, the Mistborn series that, such an fascinating kingdom that he's established, and he's creating all these different races that are introduced even more in the second book. Like, you have the Colossus. They are really creepy and kind of disgusting, but that doesn't mean that, and of course, and then there's the whole magic system is really cool too. So yeah, I said the Mistborn series, I think that's a cool, and especially since he's making more books, he's writing more books, that are all kind of the same universe. Oh, and that reminds me, Robin Hobb too. She's good at world building as well, which is more medieval inspired world. I think her world is really cool. And I also said the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, which is a sci-fi version of our world, and that's really cool. And it's a YA, so the world building isn't as detailed, but it's still I still feel it's really good. It kind of reminds me of Harry Potter. Just it's in a futuristic world and no magic. The closest to magic you get is the Lunars have that mind control power, and that's not really nice magic. That's kind of scary magic. So yeah, I think the world that Marissa Meyer established in the Lunar Chronicles is really cool too. Okay, so question number 4: favorite classic or one that you want to read? Okay, so I went ahead and went with some classics that I want to read. I want to continue with East of Eden, but I keep feeling like I might need to restart that one again for the 3rd time. The 2nd time was actually my dad read it to us, because that was around the time Hurricane Florence swept through, and we didn't have any power. So him and I decided, well, why don't we try that old-fashioned method of someone reading a book to you? So I picked out the book, and it was East of Eden, so he read that. But I still think I need to reread it from the beginning. But I will probably stumble on the same problem again, where I I take a long break, and then I don't remember anything previously from the book, which is part of my problem. When it's a really long book, then sometimes it's not exciting throughout the book, like a fantasy, then yeah, I might take a lot of breaks in between. Okay, and then I also said Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. So that's that's more of a modern classic, I think, or maybe just became a classic. I don't know, but maybe it's not even considered a classic. I really don't know actually, but yeah, I just bought that one recently because I keep hearing about it from I can't remember who talks about it the most. Maybe it's a Book Olive from a Book Olive that talks about it. And April from Getting Hookah With It, I think, has talked about that book and how great it is. So, it might be April from Getting Hookah With It that I heard it from. But I finally bought it at Books A Million and was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy it here. I'm not going to wait around to see if it comes to the used bookstore again. I'm just going to spend my money and buy it. Okay, so, Christmas sweets. What book would you like to receive for Christmas? Oh, this is going to be a hard one. Kingdom of Ash, for one. Caliban's War, which is the sequel to Leviathan Wakes, but I have not even finished reading Leviathan. I'm still at the very beginning of Leviathan Wakes. There's a lot of series that I have that I want to get the next book. I put on my Amazon wishlist the next book in the series. I put Misery, which is not part of a series. It's a Stephen King novel, standalone novel. I think all of his, he only has a few series. Maybe even just one big series, and that's The Dark Tower. I don't know if he's written any other series. Ship of Destiny. I think that's the second one, which is the sequel to either the third or the second book to Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. Elantris from Brandon Sanderson's series, Conspiracy Universe. The sequel to Malice, the sequel to Theft of Swords, the sequels to Daughter of the Forest. Basically, a lot of sequels. That's what I want. A lot of sequels, as far as books wise. There's some Stephen King. There's another Stephen 11/25/65, or the one where it's the title of it is a date, which is about the JFK assassination, and this guy goes back in time, and he tries to stop it, which I guess he won't succeed because unless like the author decides, unless Stephen King gets a little creative and creates an alternate timeline, and then they fix it. Because in those kind of stories, the timeline, if they actually mess the timeline up, then it messes everything else up, and then, I guess, another one I'm anticipating, there's, no, I already answered that question, so, I was just thinking about, there are a few other books I'm anticipating, but I don't know exactly, I don't know if they're coming out in 2019 or not. So yeah, essentially a lot of sequels to books I've started. Okay. That was number 5. Question number 6, Candles in the Window. What book gives you that warm and fuzzy feeling? Well, I gave the same answer that Sam gave in this rendition, in this one, and that is Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow, by Jessica Townsend. This is a beautiful middle grade book about a girl who is in her hometown. She's believed to be cursed, and that she's going to die on her 11th birthday, but just as she's about to die, a mysterious man called Jupiter North shows up and whisks her away to Nevermore, a place where she can live with this, she can actually have a real family that, loves her and doesn't see her as a curse. And she can be part of the Wanderer Society, but she has to pass some trials to do that. And yes, there are aspects of it that give you Harry Potter feels, but it is a little different. I was kind of reminded of, Alice in Wonderland, maybe? I cannot think right now. I mean, this probably was not the best time, but like I said, I want to get some December videos in. Especially Christmas-related ones. That's why I'm doing this one first. But yeah, it's so warm and it's just a feel-good story, and it's a middle grade. I think middle grade novels are perfect for feeling good and giving you warm and fuzzy feelings. Because they're always, that the characters are safe. And it's not as intense as like a Brandon Sanderson. Well, no, Brandon Sanderson does do middle grade. And they are Wright's middle grade, and they are just fun, and so I think that book is perfect. So yes, it gives me warm and fuzzy feelings. Okay, so next, question number 7, Christmas trees and decorations. What are some of your favorite book covers? Oh, that's right, I forgot about that question. I don't know. I guess I like this one. I think it's really cool, and the crown and the red thorns. Like I said, that's the one I'm gonna get rid of. A lot of the fantasy covers I really love. I think this one is kind of cool, and I like how Gregor Maguire's books, they have this, and then you can open it up. Like, you have this, and then you can open it up. Get in there. Okay, get in there. Don't fall, you guys. These Funko Pops do not stay up. I like Stephen King's covers. They're always really creepy. And what's great about his covers is, like, he doesn't use people on them. Like, the publisher won't put people on them. Although not every cover with a person on them is bad. But yeah, like other people, I do agree that the covers with people on them are really cheesy. Then again, I also don't read a lot of those. Like, you see that oftentimes on YA contemporary, And I don't read YA contemporary that often, you know. Okay, like in 2017, in 16 I did. I love the photos of himself that he puts on his covers. See, he's so funny. He's like a goofy guy. Most recent Stephen King, well, not the most recent anymore. I think I really love this cover. I like the mystery of it, and and the symbolism of the crow. I think it's a crow, or is it a raven? I don't know if it's a crow or a raven. I cannot remember which one is which, but either way, I like Stephen King's covers. I do not like the covers with the movie tie-in covers. I never like this, but I'm also not someone who will go through the trouble of, it's just the edition that I see, I grab it. I'm not gonna I'm not super picky about it, but I do agree. I understand that people, because I don't like it either. I just won't go through the effort to make sure I don't get that one, because if it's the one available, then it's the one available. And I'm also trying to be, I also try to be a little cautious with my money when it comes to buying books. So if it's the cheapest one that happens to have the ugly cover, then I will still buy it, because, it's not worth spending the money, to me anyway. It's not worth spending the money just to have a pretty cover. Okay, so this video doesn't get too long, I'm gonna stop there. Sorry, I should have planned ahead for that question. Okay, Christmas joy. And this question doesn't really involve showing any books. But what are some of your favorite things about Christmas, and or some of your favorite Christmas memories? I love listening to Christmas music. I like how we were more organized with our opening presents. Because then my dad had always told my sister and I that when we were little, that if we open the gifts too fast, then Christmas will be over before we know it. So it kind of stuck with me. It always stuck with Jesse and I. So we always we have specific spots we sit in. And then the youngest will pass out the kids will pass out the gifts. In this case, the grandchildren, and my nephews, or one of my nephews, the younger one is not old enough yet, but I'm sure that if Anna is here, if my Aunt Tara and Uncle Danny and their kids are here, then Anna will probably help Harrison. But yeah, the youngest one will pass the gifts to each person. And let's see. And then we always will do the stockings first, and then we'll have SOS with fried egg for Christmas Day breakfast, which is so good, by the way. I mean, it's actually like it was started in the military because it's a quick and easy, just toast bread, and then you use hamburger meat or whatever you have, and you cook that, and then you put it on your toast. So it's a very easy breakfast to make, or easy dinner. You could eat it for dinner if you wanted. And then I also like I said, I love listening to Christmas music and movies. I love Christmas movies. I love watching the movie marathons they have, like Countdown to Christmas on Hallmark Channel, ABC, Freeform now. We'll do that 25 Days of Christmas marathon, and they'll do the same thing on Halloween, where they'll do a marathon of up until Halloween. And there's other channels, like AMC is doing a marathon of a handful of movies, like the original Miracle on 34th Street, The Polar Express, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and the second Santa Claus movie is playing there. And then they will, what else do they? And then this morning they play Prancer, the movie Prancer, where the girl finds the reindeer in the barn, the abandoned reindeer, and thinks it's possibly could be Santa's reindeer. that maybe. And I also, and then I just love the idea, Christmas time is when your family, you go to see your family or they come to see you. You visiting family is always so nice because you don't, like, in the real world, you have work, you have to go to work, so you have to be careful about asking off. And there's no guarantee you'll live in the same neighborhood, let alone the same state. I mean, some people are lucky, like my best friend Larissa, both her sisters one of them lives in the same neighborhood, and the other one is in a different neighborhood, but they still live in the same vicinity, so they can see each other a lot more than I can see my extended family, or a lot more than I can see my sister. So the holidays are times when we have an excuse to all get together and spend, make that long several hours trip to go visit each other. Because I understand in my sister's case, it's very hard because her kids, my nephews, one of them is 3 and then the other one is 1. So it's kind of hard for them to travel those 5 hours to our house. And I can't ask off all the time. I mean, I'm lucky with this job because they're very understanding and cool with me asking off. As long as I'm assuming as long as I'm a good worker, and they know that they can trust me, then. And also, like, my grandmothers can't travel all that much. They're both of them are in their 80s, and then my aunts and uncles, that's the same thing with them, and some of them have kids, they're still, are still young, like teenage age. So it's really hard to, during the year, especially if you don't live in the same state or the same neighborhood, to get together. So this is the one time family gets together. And it's also the time of year when people are actually nice to each other, or at least they're supposed to be. But the irony is when they're doing the shopping and trying to get the stuff for Christmas meals and stuff, people are just mean. So it's supposed to be the nicest time of year, but it's not. But yeah, I don't have any specific memories, like that I can remember. Well, I guess I can share one thing where we would always give the dogs, memory-wise, a bone. And our dog Rascal, and this was a more recent memory, when he got his bone, he would run around the house to try to find, like, a spot to bury the bone, and he would dig at the furniture like that, and then he would look around to see if we were watching him, and to see if we were watching him, and he has torn up the couch and stuff for that. So my mom has made sure she's not giving them any bones to bury anymore, because either they'll bury it somewhere, they'll ruin the furniture, or they will go outside and bury it. And some of the bones we give them, we don't want them to take outside because they're toy bones. They're not, like, real bones. Okay, so that is my Christmas book tag, if you understood it. And if I was clear. So, I will put the questions down below if you guys are interested in doing the Joy of Christmas book tag. And I will also put Sam from Sam's Nonsense, her video, below as well. And as always, I hope you are enjoying your reading. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And click subscribe if you like this video and have not subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. And as always, I hope you all are enjoying your reading and enjoying your Christmas season, your holidays. Sorry. I hope you all are enjoying your holiday, whether you celebrate Christmas or one of the other holidays or don't celebrate any of the holidays. I hope you're enjoying your winter so far. Bye.